INTJs, get ready for this video. It's going to be a little more sappier than usual. INFPs watching this video, you're going to get all the recognition and all the praise that you've always deserved. I'm going to confidently say that out of all the 16 Myers-Briggs type out there, outside of the INTJs, I have the most information, or I could talk the most about INFPs. I have so many close INFP friends that I adore, and I've dated a lot of INFPs. My older sister is an INFP, so I've been around INFPs my entire life, and I adore my sister. That's the only compliment you're getting this decade. When you guys are healthy, it is so easy to love you guys. INFP guys, girls, and every other gender in between, you guys are honestly the cutest type for an INTJ, both physically and mentally. INTJs really care about authenticity because we have FI as well. And there's no one more authentic than INFPs or ISFPs. To see someone who's so comfortable about FI that we can't help but be drawn to you. Regardless of whether the draw is positive or negative, INFPs are a magnet to INTJs. So I'm going to start this video going off the tics that I've noticed about INFPs. INFPs, you guys are the easiest for me to spot. And talk about my own personal experience, I have type 2 people as INFP when I talk to them when I'm like borderline blacked out drunk. The thing about INFPs is that I don't necessarily think about what you say, I feel what you say, and INFPs have this way to bring out this emotion within me. In addition to that as well, you guys have a lot of physical tells that I've noticed is very unique to your type. INFPs, you guys have to stare. It's like you guys are looking out into space, not really focusing on anything, but the cogs are turning. And I am terrified of that stare, because when you guys have that stare, you guys are feeling so much that you're not really sure how you feel. So it's a crapshoot. The results are going to be positive or negative. And I have PTSD from it because I've gone through this my entire life with my older sister. I hold my breath every single time. When it's positive, it's great. You guys are the INFP that everyone loves. But when it's negative, you can't help but suck the energy from the room. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse. You guys are aware that you do that. And as an INTJ who has FI as well, I understand that there are certain emotions that you can't control, but it's scary as hell. Another thing that I've noticed specifically about INFPs that I actively do to every single one of them that I know is that I'm aware of the cadence in which you guys speak. The easiest way to explain what I'm talking about is to compare the INFP and the ENFPs, because you guys share FI and NE just in different slots. Whenever the ENFP engages with NE and they have multiple ideas, they're going to vocally just spit it out. Even if it doesn't make sense in the sentence, even if it doesn't make sense in the atmosphere that we're in, they have to get it out. However, for an INFP, it usually takes you guys longer to express what you're thinking. So whenever I talk to an INFP, regardless of whether it's a guy or a girl, whether it's a friend or a relationship, I usually give them time to fully express what they're talking about. And what that means is there's a cadence in which you guys speak. So an INFP will say something and then pause, and then say something else and then pause, and then say something else and then pause. And that process go on and on and on until you reach the end of your thought. So as an INTJ who is aware, I usually just let them speak until they tell me that they're done with their train of thought. Because I know how NE bounce from ideas to ideas. I want to make sure that I address whatever they're thinking at that moment. Now let's go over the stereotypes of this partnership. The Myers-Briggs community sees this partnership as the INTJ lion taking care of an INFP kitty cat. I don't know if I fully agree with this stereotype, because I've been in so many situations where my INFP friends have stood up for me even when I wasn't asking for it, even when I didn't need it, because they actually cared about me. Because I'm a part of their FI framework, they get scary for me. But there are times too when the INFP is too afraid to, let's say, return their food or speak up for something that is wrong. That's where I come in. As an INTJ, I'm not afraid of approaching people, especially when it comes down to taking care of the person I care about. And another thing that most people don't take into consideration is that INTJs tend to let people live their own life however they want to live their own life, which also means taking care of their own problems. So INTJs typically don't step into the situation unless it's needed. And how that might manifest is that an INFP might be trying to express how they feel to certain people but can't find the words to express themselves. That's the time when the INTJ jumps in. The INTJ helps guide the INFP in order to vocally say what they want to say. And if people are putting down the INFP, the INTJ will jump in and just logic the shit out of everyone. No one can out-logic an INTJ because we have NI. That means we can see every logical inconsistencies and we can break that shit down. And that's how we protect INFPs. Something else about INFPs that don't get spoken much about is how funny you guys are. I have an INFP friend who comes up with jokes that stick so easily. Something as simple as, "That's what's up." One day we'd be talking and I told him that I'm hungry, and his response is, "That's what's up." And it stuck, and we've been saying that for the past decade. The beauty of the INTJ INFP relationship is that we're the support system that the other type didn't know we needed. INTJs typically live our life as the Sigma. We typically don't like following the herd and also like doing what we want to do and feel like we don't need help from anyone else. And when we do need support from people, we naturally gravitate towards the INFP. Because throughout the relationship that we've built with the INFPs, you guys have consistently provided a very safe space for us to be ourselves. And I feel like that's the same way with INFPs to INTJs. Whenever you guys need to get your thoughts across when it comes down to this actual world, building a blueprint or achieving a certain goal, that's where the INTJ comes in. We tell you guys this is the most likely outcome, and because we know who you are, you might like it or you might not like it. If you're new to my channel, I like to talk about cognitive functions, and if you're into Myers-Briggs, you have to understand cognitive functions. I see every single cognitive function as a member of a single family. INFPs have FI in their first slot, and INTJs have FI in their third slot. So the way that I imagine the conversation to be like, whenever the INTJ engages with FI, it's like an older sister being proud of a younger sister. The older sister is so happy that the younger sister has found their calling that they're just gonna support them no matter what. And that's the way I feel about TE. The INTJ has Mama TE in our second slot, and INFPs have TE in their fourth slot. Same mentality. The INTJ's TE is the older sister and so proud of an INFP whenever they TE, start working on our project, or come to us to express their ideas towards the project. And that's the beauty of a relationship. We admire each other. Almost every INFP that I know in my life, actually now that I think about it, every single one of the INFPs in my life has complimented me on my ability to accomplish whatever I put my mind to. And I admire every single INFP because of how authentic you guys are. Regardless of what anyone tells you, you guys stand your ground. Yes, it's a mixed bag, sometimes negative, sometimes positive, but I respect that you guys respect yourself enough to stand up for what you believe is right. Another thing that I appreciate about you guys is that you guys show love in very subtle ways. It's very different from FE. In the MBTI community, there's a stereotype that when people care about people is usually due to FE. That's not how it works. And I'm gonna say this, which might stir the pot, but people don't understand how strong FI is. Introverted feeling can be more extroverted feeling than extroverted feeling can ever be. Because when FI cares about something, we care about it unconditionally. In group chats, the INFPs are usually the ones that ask people how they're feeling about a certain thing. When INFPs are physically in a group with anyone else, you guys make sure that other people's voices are heard. You guys are willing to stop the conversation if you believe that someone you care about has something that they want to say, but just are afraid to express themselves at that moment. Another thing that I've noticed about INFPs is that whenever you're in a group setting and you feel like someone's feelings are off and that person decides to walk away, let's say to get a drink or to use the bathroom or something, you guys will also leave and engage with that person to make sure that they are okay. And when you guys ask if that person is okay, you guys don't care about the cohesiveness of the group. You guys actually care about that specific person and how they're feeling. I have mentioned this characteristics so many times to my FE Dom friends, ENFJs, ESFJs, ISFJs, and INFJs, and they don't see it. For them, the harmony of the group trumps everything else. So if a person is upset and they walk away, they care more about how everyone else feels. But as a FI Dom, you care more about the person that's leaving. And I fucking love that. I see it so clearly, and I appreciate you guys so much for that, because as an INTJ, I don't really know how to engage with that. When someone opens up to me, the best thing that I could do is provide TE answers, how to fix problems, or be a sounding board for them. I have a difficult time relating with someone at a certain level that you guys naturally do when you talk to the people you care about. And it's because you guys lead with a cognitive function FI, which FI is very interesting to me too, because if you guys spend most of your time in FI, how you authentically feel about a certain thing, how do you not know in the moment? But as an INTJ who lives in NI most of the time, it's very difficult for me to describe what I'm thinking at that time too. So I guess that makes sense, disregard what I just said. Having introverted feeling in your first slot is very interesting, and it is something that I've learned dealing with my sister my entire life. She has a daughter who I adore as well, and I've told my niece so many times throughout her entire life, when mom says no, it doesn't mean no forever. She just needs time to process how she feels about what's being requested, and then she'll provide you an answer when she understands how she feels. I've noticed that because you guys have FI, you guys don't really know what you're agreeing to at that moment. There are plenty of times where you guys agree to something because you're happy at that moment and then regret it later. There are also moments where you hate something, and then once you take the time to actually process your feelings and actually understand it, you're okay with it. Which leads me to the final section of INFPs that I really do want to talk about. I don't understand why you guys feel so small. INFPs, you guys have so much potential, and you guys have so much positive influence in everything you touch and everyone that you engage with. It doesn't make sense to me that you guys approach life in a more pessimistic way. An example is when you apply for a job or when you're in a relationship, you guys want the best, but you guys always prepare for the worst. So when you get it, your happiness isn't as happy as you should be. And when you don't get it, you guys are like, oh, I knew I wasn't gonna get it, so it doesn't matter. As an INTJ, I don't understand that. And I know I can't tell you how to feel. It just doesn't sound like a pleasant life. I mentioned this earlier in the video, but INTJs sees how much effort INFPs put. Regardless of whatever it is, you guys put so much effort, even if you don't want to do things at time. I see it. And that's one of the reasons why INTJs admire INFPs. Because even if you don't feel like doing certain things, you guys are still putting in the effort to get better. One of the top 3 things that I admire the most about INFPs, you guys are constantly trying to improve who you are. Whether it's a goal or whether it's external, when you guys are in your healthy mood, you guys are constantly trying to make things better. So in conclusion of this video, INTJs love, and adore INFPs. When you're at your healthiest, I believe it's one of the best match because you guys are there to help us understand how we feel about things, and we're there to keep you guys in line. Similar to what I said about INFPs, this is one of the best pairing for INTJs. There's a lot of understanding, there's a lot of room for growth, and we kind of see life similarly. INFPs, please don't ever change unless that's who you want to be. Thank you very much for watching this video. Bye.